By virtue of the powers vested in me as Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I hereby declare that this congregation of the VUT University of Technology is duly constituted for the diplomas and degrees to be conferred to those students whose names appear on the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a congregation, you're invited to observe a moment as we observe a prayer before we commence with the official program. Dear Almighty, the Omniscient One, we come before you with all humility to serve you and your people. Please guide us in everything that we say and do. Bless each and every one of us and bless our institution. Inspire us to strive for that which is good and not to be self-seeking and serve our own interests, but let everything be done to your glory. Use us as your vessels of honor so that the fruits of our labor may endure for peace and goodwill towards all mankind. We ask this in your name. Amen. You may be seated. Welcome to the graduation ceremony of the VUT University of Technology at the Vanderbilt Park campus. Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome you as a congregation gathered here today to witness and celebrate the achievements of our students at VUT on this momentous occasion. A special word of welcome to our distinguished guests, members of staff, families, and friends. To all our diplomats and graduates, welcome to this long-awaited day. May it be everything that you hoped for. Vice-Chancellor, it's my honor to present to you candidates of the Faculty of Management Sciences of the VUT University of Technology whose names appear on the program for the receiving of diplomas and degrees. National Diploma Cost and Management Accounting. A.T. Esther. Boshamani T.E. Buthelezi N.Z. Chiloni M. Gulwa L. Shongwane M.S. Kakane C.T. Gosensilve T.C. Koza A.V. Kima K.L. Kipunda N.B. Lugaleli V.G. Mabale B.A. Matlopa T. Maslangu E.T.H. Makroti L.K. Malepi R. Mamela O.L.D. Maseko Z.P. Mashele N.G. Mashimbai O. Mazibuko Z.L. Motlana L.H. Ndaweni P.Y. Moleta S.P. Motlatudi M.P. Motapo M. Mukansi Z. Nemakula K. Netsiwinze NN. Ngobeni P. Palane TD. Pokane GV. Pokela LM. Kwabasa A. Ratsitela EM. Ramo UCFS. Rasiktuma L. Satabela M. Sibeko M.O. Simalani N.T. Tala P.A. Nshinganga M. Thank you. Thank you. Zondo P. Zwane XT. National Diploma Financial Information System, Bartolo MK. Chukarua MC. Kazati NL. Maelia S.P. May V.L. Impei U.L. Nyamane N.T. Pago P.L. National Diploma Internal Auditing, Bodibi M. Bokaba T.D. Jada A.A. Madibane T.C. Madida M.S. Maluleke N.I. Masia M.A. Matubula L. Mohano P.F. Makone T.K. Morena G.C. Moshelane C. Motebejane I.S.M. Thank you. Thank you. Moteni L.K. Motseki N.M. Motsweni J.S. Munyai F. Ndudane ZBN. Nefali AC. Namavula F. Malakone SS. Nkona PM. Nolazla N. Nyama NT. Tapudi MO. Palana R. Rangwala MM. Ramfela KL. Sebetana EN. Sigala PR. Ispani NH. Tapala BT. Sibisi TC. National Diploma Marketing. Bukwana NM. Koku K. Glamini NP. Gamedi LC. Kapola TS. Ngweli KC. Maloko MM. Mai for TP. Maitisa TR. Malaza SY. Maloko M. Impalala SB. Mashwangani S. Matibela M. Matlala K. Matsepi FM. Mbingo XG. Ndakane DE. Malambo MR. Maumogwe BP. Mokotu L. Motima LP. Impaleli CM. Mulelu M. Nkuta ZE. Nkomalo LT. Seralio NL. Seramula T. National Diploma Retail Business Management. Bukendwa KI. Diboko L. Harmans D.J. Harmans N.G. Waimane M. Makubu K.R. Matlajane M.R. Mavanga L. E. Motsanyane R. N. Mpulanga Puma N.A. Thank you. Matubeni N. Thank you. Matumbo F.M. Molapo B.P. Rapudi K.T. Tau M.R. National Diploma Sports Management, Maduna P. Mapoto K.M. Mbali T.G. Mahotle K.M. Motlakona N. Nzamandi J.N.C. BTech Cost and Management Accounting, Mabasa H.V. Mahasi M. Maluke L. Mbata B. Makwena R.P. Intuli F.S.A. B.Tech, Financial Information Systems. Kabedi T.F. Kotwane K. Insoni P.V. B.Tech Internal Auditing. Bahula M.L. Mafesa M.A. Namane M.B.L. B.Tech Marketing, Lashia M.E. Malalo S. Nsia L.B. Situnia T.L. Sotetsi L.P. M.Tech Marketing, Magister Technologia Marketing. With a dissertation title, The Influence of Selected Antecedents on Athlete Endorser Credibility, Attitudes Towards an Advertisement and Purchase Intention. The supervisor was Dr. N. Lodlo and co-supervisor Dr. S. Tesnia. Mahau Bafokeng Bafokeng. M.Tech Marketing, Magister Technologia Marketing, with a dissertation titled Selected Antecedents Towards the Acceptance of M-Payment Services and a Relationship with Attitude and Future Intentions. Supervisor Dr. N. Loslo, co-supervisor Dr. P.J. van Skalkwyk, Makuko Isaac. Vice-Chancellor, I hereby request that you confer the diplomas and degrees in absentia on those students whose names appear on the program but could not be present here today.
I hereby do confer the diplomas and the graduates whose names appear on the program but could not be present at this congregation.
Vice-Chancellor, I thank you.
Thank you. I think this choir needs another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In the Zulu language, when you greet and recognize people, you just use one word. And if you greet one person, you say, Sawubona, and he responds and says, Sawubona. But if you greet multitudes, as there are in this hall, you say, Sanbonani, but they will respond and say, Sawubona. And so allow me this morning to say to all of you, Sanbonani. Thank you very much. Firstly, let me recognize the presence of our executive management present here this morning, and recognize the presence of the members of the academic staff, particularly members of Senate, but above all, the members of staff who have made it possible for these, our children and new graduates and graduates, to walk across the stage. Were it not for the members of staff sitting behind the front row, it would not have been possible for these, our children and your children, to have walked across the stage and therefore kneeling in front of the Chancellor or the Vice Chancellor. And so on this particular day, which is not only a recognition to the awarding of the degrees and diplomas, but it is also a recognition of the work done by the academic members of staff. And so let us indeed give them a big round of applause. You know, members of the academic staff are not always appreciated for the work that they do. Sometimes they put so much pressure on students, and students tend to ignore the pressure that is put on them. They submit assignments late, and sometimes they even have funny excuses of not submitting assignments. But nonetheless, members of the academic staff have to endure all of that. I think you, my children, are a testimony to what I'm saying, that there were times when you would say, no, I'll submit this assignment next week. And come next week, you would have another apology and an excuse. But at the end of the day, you would ultimately submit that assignment. After a long excuses and apologies, but the members of the academic staff have had to work with you. And so from the executive management, we want to say thank you very much, colleagues. This is an effort that is greatly appreciated. I also want to recognize the presence of the media, captains of industry present here, members of the administrative staff, but most importantly also members of the registrar's portfolio, who work behind scenes in making certain that the graduation takes place without any hindrances. But above all, members of the corporate affairs. These two portfolios work hand in hand in making certain that the graduation ceremony is as perfect as it can ever be. Last but by no means least, I want to congratulate the guests of honor, and those are the graduates themselves as well as the diplomandos, for having carried on with the task of studying and not stopping, even though sometimes the future may have looked a little bit bleak, particularly in 2015 and 2016. As you know, the country and the higher education sector was confronted with serious challenges of fees must fall. But notwithstanding the fees must fall campaign, you journeyed along, you soldiered along. Up until today, we are saying to you, you are the graduates of the VUT University of Technology. May I also borrow from the words of Professor Mutana, the former Vice Chancellor, who would say that as some of you would be going out to the open labor market, and your pockets will probably be getting heavier and heavier, you know, with the coins and the papers with Mandela face, please, please remember your alma mater. Other institutions out there thrive in making money through their alumni and through their convocation. And so, colleagues, this is the plea that we want to make to you. I mean, I said when I spoke to the members of staff and the broader VUT community that there is nothing special about the UCTs of this world and the VETs of this world. They are just the same as us. And let us not look down upon us as a third-class university. VUT University of Technology is in the same league as any other academic institution. And so when you engage with your colleagues, be they from TUT or DUT or CPUT or even UCT, engage with them on the level of being equals. You are not third-class or second-class graduates. You are first-class graduates. And so walk tall. Thank you. And so walk tall and chin up, because your qualifications receive the same international status as any other qualification. And so you can go to America, you can go to Europe, and you produce the certificate from the VUT University of Technology. It will be recognized. So you are not by any means a second-class graduate. You deserve a round of applause there. You know, sometimes it is always advisable just to speak off the cuff. But I've got something just that I want to share with you. Those of you who do not know, today marks the 40th anniversary of the brutal murder of Steve Bantu Biko in prison. He was arrested in August 1977 and on a roadblock. He was driving from Cape Town. And so he was arrested as he was nearing Durban. But what happened, he was taken to a Woma police station in Port Elizabeth, where they brutally assaulted him. He was shackled. And when the security police saw the damage that they did, they put him shackled, naked, at the back of a 4x4 van and traveled 1,200 kilometers from PE to Pretoria. The security police to go and report to their bosses and said, look at the damage that we have done, because they did not know how to handle it. And unfortunately, Steve Biko died fighting the system of apartheid. He is one of those comrades and compatriots who is not so much recognized. But his philosophy, which I believe is more important today than it was then, is that they may have crushed his body. They may have crushed his bones, but his philosophy lives on. And his philosophy was just very simple. He was fighting against the system, and he used to say, unfortunately, I'm one of those who got something from him. As a matter of fact, this day, 40 years ago, I slept in prison for 90 days in Fort Lamogan in East London. That was the second 90-day detention under the Internal Security Act. And Steve Biko's philosophy, apart from black consciousness as we know it, he acted against a system which said, if you are white, you are right. If you are brown, hang around. If you are black, get back. So that is the system against which Steve Biko fought. So it is important, therefore, that I stand here today wanting to talk to you about a knock at midnight. Because when he was brutally murdered, that was a knock at midnight. Because as we speak, it would have been inappropriate for me to stand before you today on this very important day in our history and talk as if everything was fine. I think those with whom I served in the Black Consciousness movement will probably take me to task and say, how dare you address this occasion without paying tribute to Steve Biko. And so allow me, therefore, colleagues, to say, I'm going to talk to you about a knock at midnight. And these knocks at midnight were the ones against which Steve Biko fought. And these midnights are described by Martin Luther King Jr. as follows. Those of you who've got a pen and a paper, just write them down. It is midnight within the social order. Family lives are broken and there is no support base. It is midnight because people are dying of HIV and AIDS and other dreaded diseases. Increase the number of widows, widowers, and orphans. Yes, it is midnight. And we seem not to be responding to a knock at midnight. It is midnight within the psychological order. Everywhere paralyzing fears harrow people by day and haunt them by night. Deep clouds of anxiety and depression are suspended deep in our mental skies. More people are emotionally disturbed today than at any time in human history. All of these threats are indicative of the fact that it is midnight within the inner lives of human beings. Yes, it is midnight. And the society, and particularly we, the African intelligentsia, have to respond to these knocks at midnight and say to ourselves, what is it that we're planning to do about these knocks at midnight? Now that we are graduates, are we just going to fold our arms and keep quiet when we are faced with these knocks at midnight? Or are we going to take the baton and fight on? Because remember, education is important for as long as you use it. But if you don't use it, education becomes totally meaningless. It is also midnight within the moral order. At midnight, colors lose their distinctiveness and become a silent shade of gray. Moral principles have lost their distinctiveness for modern men and for some of the present-day generation of politicians, where right and absolute wrong are a matter of what the majority is doing. I was very touched when the choir decided to sing my famous Methodist hymn, Uyesuli Tembalam. And Banona Bam, thank you very much. You really touched my heart. It is therefore no wonder that that Methodist Soto chorus in the midst of midnight it would go like, Jesu, Jesu ke rapela, haunce usisa baba angsimpitilina. Jesus, Jesus, I pray thee, when you help others, please don't pass me by. Perhaps these words are no longer directed to Jesus Christ per se, but are directed to us as African intelligentsia. Are we steeped in the moral decay of our country, where there is moral and ethical deficit? Right and wrong are relative to likes and dislikes and the customs of a particular community. We have unconsciously applied the Einstein's theory of relativity, which probably describes the physical universe, to the moral ethical realism. Midnight is the hour when men desperately seek to obey the 11th commandment. You know the 10th commandment, but there is now the 11th commandment. And the 11th commandment reads, "Thou shalt steal, but not get caught." According to the ethic of midnight, the cardinal sin is to be caught, and the cardinal virtue is to get by. It is all right to lie, but one must lie with real finesse. It is right to steal if one is so dignified that if caught, the charge becomes embezzlement, not robbery. We have seen this happening even with some of our government officials. It is permissible even to hate if one so dresses his hating in the garments of love that hating appears to be loving. And I'm sure you remember the Pistorius story where he brutally murdered his girlfriend. And of course, that murder was robed as love. And Steenekamp is gone, gone, gone. But as we are saying now, Oscar Pistorius is enjoying the life in prison, but he will be out. But the parents of Steenekamp will never see him. But as we are gathered here today, I want us to prick our consciences and say, in the midst of these midnights, what is our role? You will be going out there to face the realities of life, and it will not be easy. But those who keep on going on and on are the ones who are going to make it in real life. Allow me to quote Kent Heath, as quoted by Martin Luther King, when he says, and these are the stories that you are going to encounter in life, when he says, people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway, because people will always talk. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Don't care a hoot about what people say. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. Don't bother yourself about what small minds say. They are small minds anyway. They cannot match your mind. So think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but follow top dogs. Fight for the underdogs anyway, because this is where you come from. There are people who, on graduating, forget their roots. They forget where they're coming from. And please, this is a challenge I'm putting to you. Even if your mother was a maid, she still remains your mother. And now that you are a graduate, you know, I can say these things because I come from that background. I speak from experience. Wearing this red gown, it does not mean that the red gown is going to bury me. I am going to be buried by those people I grew up with. And so fight for the underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need, but may attack you if you do help them. But help them anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you will get kicked in the teeth. You know, that's how life is. You continue to give back to people, but instead of them appreciating, they kick you in the teeth. But give the world the best you have anyway. Let me therefore conclude by saying, a knock at midnight beyond the hill. I hope when time comes for all of you to leave this hall and to go partying and drying, you will really be able to say to your parents, Ma, ke a leboha. Hoja inesi wena. Ngaba ke sa gona ho ba graduate letsatsing la kasheko. And ke batla ho promise or ho tloela ka mo kasheko tjena. I'll be the best daughter, I'll be the best son ever. And please, I want to repeat, now it is the time for you to pay back. Because a time like this demands strong minds, great hearts, true faith, and ready hands. Because in your right, you are leaders. Leaders who the lust of office does not kill. Leaders whom the spoils of life cannot buy. Leaders who possess opinions and will. Leaders who have honor. Leaders who will not lie. Leaders who can stand before a demagogue and damn his treacherous flatteries without winking. Tall leaders, sun-crowned, who live above the fog in public duty and in private thinking. I close quote. This comes from Martin Luther King. There are people who adopt a particular behavior in front of people, but in private life, they become totally different to what they are in real life. And so my plea is that be the person you are, even if people are not around you. And when you do that, you will be able to say with Leo Buscaglia, only you can make the difference. And therefore, I conclude by passing these words to you which are from that Italian-American motivational speaker, Leo Buscaglia, would always conclude his motivational speeches by saying, only you can make the difference. As you are going out there, remember that it is only you who can make the difference. Then he goes on to say, you alone can bring magic and humor and joy to the people you encounter. Anything you dream, by the very nature that you can dream it, makes it possible. The purpose of life is to help others. And if you can't help them, would you at least not hurt them? You can make things happen that you never thought you could. The greatest risk in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, and is nothing. To be is to do, and to do is to do now, because tomorrow might not be there. You have everything you need to be so much. Don't settle for less. There is no end to human potential, and there's so much more to learn. And the time for action is now, and only you can make the difference. I thank you. Shall we stand up for the singing of the national anthem? By virtue of the powers vested in me as Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I now dissolve the congregation of the VUT University of Technology.